Hi everyone, my name is Constance Chadwick, and I am an extension site student with Southeastern University through a program called LifePoint College, and it is placed in Fredericksburg, Virginia. And I'm going to be sharing some information and some pictures on a structure called the Dome of the Rock, and it is a piece of architecture that is placed in the Middle Eastern city of Jerusalem. I filmed this video like 5 times because I keep messing up, so let's go. So, Dome of the Rock. This is a really awesome piece of architecture that is special to the Islamic religion. It is actually one of the most amazing achievements, it is said, of Islamic architecture. Though beautiful, the original purpose of the structure is really unknown. Some say it's a mosque, some say it's a monument. It's actually not a mosque after doing some research, probably more on the monumental side. But here's some photos. There it is in the context of the city of Jerusalem. Kind of see how lavish it looks among everything. All the mosaics and the gold dome. It's very beautiful. Very brightly colored. What originally drew me to this piece of architecture was actually the name. It was really just kind of an epic sounding name that rolled off the tongue. After researching it, it became more apparent to me as to how rich the history is that is connected to this building, not just for the Islamic people, but for those of the Christian and Jewish faiths as well. Really interesting. Not to mention the vast beauty within, such as the huge shiny dome, the bright colors, columns, and gorgeous mosaics. Oh, this is also a picture of just kind of showing you how it's just significant to the religion of Islam. People tend to come here to pray. It's just kind of a safe place, a safe covering, and it's just really significant to that people group. And here are the columns and the mosaics that are on the inside. So again, there's much debate around what the structure is actually intended for. It's believed by the Islamic people that it was a place where their founder, Muhammad, was ascended into heaven. The Jewish culture believes that the rock is where the story of Abraham being asked by God to kill his son, where that story would have taken place. This would have been the rock where the altar was made. With that said, there was actually a fight between these demographics that wanted to claim the spot for their own. Some say that if one demographic was able to claim it and to have it for their own religion, it kind of would have been like a snub at other people, that their religion was kind of like an imperial to others. So this was not always attributed to the Islamic people, but rather it was a temple to the Jews before the city was captured. The city was captured while the Byzantine Empire was at large at about 70 CE. So the finishing of the Dome of the Rock was finally completed about 55 years after that. And so the reason it kind of took so long was because at the time, the Arabian armies were very concerned with not so much building things, but overtaking cities. And as a consequence, much of the architecture and artwork within the Dome of the Rock maintained the influence of the Byzantine period, even as well as classical medieval periods. The man who built the structure, and forgive my pronunciation, was Caliph Abd al-Malik. I don't know how to say his name, but you get the gist. So the mosaics of this amazing architecture. Oh, that's the rock on the ground right there. The mosaics are probably one of the most noteworthy elements. They line the outside and the inside of the building itself. They tell the story of the centuries of its previous owners. Like in this detailed picture, the mosaics allude much to the kings of the Sasanian Empire with its gold and lavishly colored mosaics, almost appearing as a crown. You kind of see the crown in the top. It alludes to that time period. Another noteworthy piece of the architecture inside the dome is the rocky floor that is the epitome of the structure. Think of this as more of a monument. This floor is really the religious significance, as it is on this platform that so much of Jewish and Islamic tradition is found. It appears to just be raw and untouched rock, as if the dome was meant to be showcased as a historical landmark. There are structures that are formed around the rock as well. There are 2 aisles or ambulatories that encircle the rock. There are 20 wide columns that are covered in artwork and mosaics as well, where you can come and view the rock or use it as a place of prayer. All in all, this was an amazing architectural accomplishment, as well as a rich historical landmark. It makes a lot of sense as to why so many groups wanted it to be for themselves. So those are my citations. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you have an awesome rest of your semester.